Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Summer and Cynthia show. I'm Summer, and that's my girl, Cynthia.
Yes, not to be confused with Grace and Frankie, i.e. Jane Fonda. There's a story to this jacket, and I'll say it at the end.
We've got a story. So, see, we've already locked you in for the cliffhanger that's coming.
Yes, right.
Well, it's another good week, um, another great day. We're going to say that. A lot has been going on this past week, which we will get into in a minute. But, Cynthia, how have
Yeah.
things been in Chi-Town?
Hey, it's been a little snowy, a little crazy snowy as things go, though quite beautiful. I mean, it's just been the snowiest stretch in Chicago in many years. And the lake has been beautiful. It's both been snowed over, and I was out this morning, and it's getting a little liquid again with chunks of ice and just signs of life. And spring is around the corner, and that's the optimism that I have. I keep paying attention to the birds and which ones are getting a little chattier. And so pay attention to the sun and the sky and the birds and the greenery if you've got it. And if you don't, it's just around the corner.
Always keep hope, right?
Yeah, or I should say it's at least around the corner in Chicago. I don't know what's going on in Texas, and that's Summer. Tell us how your week went.
Well, as many of you may have heard, Texas has undergone um, a lot extreme weather. In fact, it was a week ago today, uh, as we were recording. I was telling Cynthia it was snowing outside, and it literally snowed the entire Sunday. And that was the start of how things began to get interesting. And we can laugh about it a little bit now, but it was and is still a lot to process emotionally. I'm happy to report that the tale of two cities in a week, and and I say two cities meaning even this my neighborhood right now. I'm staring at it, and there's no signs of snow. You just if you were just
Good.
to stay here, look outside, you would never know what we've gone through this past week. And that's just the craziness of just the Texas weather. We're forecasted to possibly be 70 degrees by Wednesday, at least here in Dallas. And that's insane when we think about last week. So let's back up. Sunday, it was cute, I guess.
Can I ask a question before we get to the actual weather part? Because there's the weather stuff, there was the water stuff, which I still don't entirely understand what has happened that disrupted so much water.
Right.
And then
Still don't. Yeah.
and then there's the electricity thing, which is almost cultural more than anything. So when you get going on the weather, help us understand what life is like in those other two utilities, because in the north we think of those as utilities, and we rely on the government to do what's right.
And thank you for pointing that out, because actually, as I go through those moments, hopefully in a timely manner, I'm going to put my stopwatch on to make sure, because Toastmaster teaches us to be concise. But anyway, I'm going to talk about that. So, okay, so Sunday was cute. It snowed all day. It was pretty, whatever, right? All your snow dreams came true Sunday. And so we were heavily warned about Monday. And even before, let's back up a few days before last Sunday. Weathermen and women were telling us this is coming. So I had kind of prepared, meaning I stocked up on groceries. And I was kind of, just all right, we've got food if nothing else. So back to Sunday, it's pretty, it snowed all damn day into the night. And Monday was the kicker because it was forecast to be 12 degrees as a high. And it very much lived up to that. So overnight, as the temperature continued to plummet and we had all this beautiful snow, it essentially froze basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that is when catastrophe struck. And we all of a sudden learned here in Texas, and I think really the country and probably the world, to no surprise, after hearing, we realized we were on a separate grid from the rest of the country. Did not know that. But again, once you hear that and you find that out, of course, that is so Texas of us to have something independent from the rest of the damn country. And actually, let me clarify, it's more of loosely off percentages, 75% of Texas is on this separate electric grid.
Mhm.
And kind of the outskirts of East and West Texas, El Paso ish, Beaumont, they're on West grid,
Sure, sure.
Eastern grid, which is
Mhm.
why they weren't as heavily impacted as us.
Interesting. Okay.
So Sunday or Monday comes around, it's cold, it's frozen, and that's when shit pretty much goes south. For us, thank God, we had power, but we didn't have internet and cable,
Mhm.
and those two are together. But then also randomly we noticed our cell phone service was done. And so mid-afternoon when it's cold and we don't know what's going on, the main thing that was freaking us out at that point is we couldn't access the outside world. I couldn't get information just to know what's going on, and
Mhm.
we couldn't communicate with anybody.
Mhm.
And so that was pretty much all of Monday. We are just in our little cocoon figuring out what's going on. But again, we've got power at this point. So we've got the heat. It came on for a second Tuesday morning. We were able to get a recap that everything was shut down essentially.
Your internet came
It
on
came on
Tuesday.
for a minute and our
Okay.
TV.
Okay.
And so enough to know that it was damages and everything was off the grid and no power in a lot of places. I was able to fill out my or send out a SOS to my friends. We did group chats basically daily, every day last week. I was
Mhm.
able to send out some messages to them, see what was going on with them. I had a girlfriend who hadn't had power for 24 hours. She lives with her older father, who's a senior. They hadn't had power. My other friends did not. So I have several people in my orbit who do not have power. Um, and we're just kind of like, well, what the hell? And again, this is how we started to unfold the whole electric grid mess in finding out that we're, basically the governing entity that controls our power grid wasn't prepared and the equipment wasn't winterized. And evidently, it's a lot of money to do so. But then again, what's the cost of now what we've gone through?
Right.
We might want to start allocating money towards a budget to make sure that doesn't happen again. And people were drawing a parallel between it is 10 years since we've had our last snowstorm. And this was when we were in the world stage because we had Super Bowl and we had the NBA All Stars here. And we got
Oh.
yeah, and that was our coming out, moment as big Dallas is here and
Right.
sports mecca, and the snow caught us with our pants down. And you thought we would have learned kind of from then, but evidently not. And what happens here is there's a lot of effort and time that is spent on our summer months. So during that season and those times, we are prepared because obviously we know the electricity capacity that people tend to run up because of
Mhm.
air conditioning. But the winter, pretty much gone fishing, nothing to worry about, nothing ever happens here.
So
Lee,
by Wednesday and Thursday, oh, by Thursday, you have a United States Senator who's heading to Cancun.
oh shit, that was Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning. Because at that point, the governor goes on TV Tuesday on his preferred platform of Fox News to blame it all on wind and the Green New Deal, which is not a thing and had nothing to do with anything. Yes, we have wind power, but it's like 20%, 26% on the high end. This was all contributed to natural gas. That's the bottom line.
Mhm.
But that wasn't the narrative. He
Outside power lines that had
froze
ice
over.
crusted trees falling on them. Yeah.
Correct.
Whereas up in the north, over the last 30 years, they have basically continued to bury the power lines. So you will drive through cities in Minnesota where you don't see power lines or telephone lines at all anymore because it's all gone underground and it's safer. And I think that's also the case in Florida, where they recognize that there's crap flying around during hurricane season.
Yeah, yeah. So, so Tuesday, governor's making his spin. Then he walks it back on Wednesday when the rest of Texas is like, what the hell are you talking about? So he kind of, backtracks on that. Meanwhile, every day I'm checking in with friends and family, kind of the same story. Some's got power, some don't. Um, and again, we're spotty on our connection. And finally, Thursday, we had stability with our cable and internet and phone. So at this point, at least I'm able to obtain information, kind of make up for the week, talk to. Mhm.
You don't have a landline, you only have your cells.
And
Okay.
fun. My husband's like, we need a landline. I'm like, oh God. To be determined on that. We need a landline. So yes, no, we don't have a
Yeah,
land.
I don't even know that they actually exist anymore.
Don't know.
I don't
I'll
know.
for shits and giggles, I'll probably reach out to my cable company and find out.
Well,
Just
they're going to tell you that that's a landline, but I've had a landline through my modem, and it is only as good as the battery in the modem. So you get maybe 2 days out of it,
oh,
and then it drops. The old landline, the original landline, which everybody hung on the wiry cord in their mom's kitchen, right? You
yep,
know, trying to get
yep.
her attention. That was a totally separate. That was the same cord that came into your house as you had when you had dial-up. Right.
Yes.
So it was that little skinny line that got your phone in, and it was separate and distinct from anything that's come along since. And not
Uh,
too many people have those anymore because they've jacked the price up because they're not
sure.
making money on it.
Yeah. And I wonder if there will be randomly a surge for that reason. Who knows? But yes, yeah, so sidebar, let me also mention the Ted Cruz thing. You know, when we woke up that morning, I believe it was Wednesday morning, and found out about him, infuriating was is not even the right word. Just like with COVID, we understand, there's going to be people with resources and means who are able to go to other places, maybe second homes, whatever, right? But as a public servant, unfortunately, not even unfortunately, you signed up to kind of forfeit
Right.
that.
Mhm.
You're right, and then the audacity to be so blatant and go to Houston Airport on this commercial flight and just kind of you just thought people we're gonna just take pictures with you and say hey and let bye bye enjoy Cancun. No. um so yeah, we know how that unfolded, but that pissed me off. And then like I said, Greg Abbott the day before doing his thing, and it was just all this finger pointing and lack of accountability and leadership. Meanwhile, we've got people out in the cold,
Mhm.
literally,
Or freezing in their own
or
living rooms.
freezing in their homes.
Yeah.
I mean, homes are getting the high is like 30 degrees in the house. It was insane and
Yep.
scary. So
Yep.
Thursday, I woke up just pissed because at that point, it was the cycle of, all right, we were coming through it. There's light at the end of the tunnel. But now, where the hell is the accountability? And all of that is still going to be coming out. There was some great work that was being done. I was able to do some volunteer work with Powered by People that Beto O'Rourke started. And basically, what we were doing was phone banking. We were calling seniors in
Mhm.
Texas, just checking in on them. And I have to say, I'm not going to say her real name, but Miss J out of Tyler, Texas. I'm not sure how old you are, but you were a treat. I talked to her for about 15 minutes. It's probably against the rule, but she wanted to talk. I enjoyed her, and it was just I felt like I was doing a little bit of
Yeah.
something.
Right.
You know,
Right.
the initial questions were just, "Do you have power? Okay, good.
Mhm.
Do
Mhm.
you have water? Okay, good." She actually hadn't had water for a week, and they were using snow. But she had a great attitude about it.
Mhm.
Just like I said, what can I do? I'm just we're gonna make the best of it, and we're gonna keep on going. And so it's moments like that. And then of course you've got villain number one, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, or AOC, coming out and helping from New York, and then not only that, coming here
Yes.
and raising an obscene amount of money, not even obscene, but just a great amount of money,
Yep.
and working with local representatives here to do that. That's what we need right now,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So now that we're, again, you would never know it snowed, what the difference a few days make. But in terms of the water, I can't really explain it. I don't know what's going on with that.
I mean, I realize broken pipes and everything. And if I can just take
Right.
a step back.
Yeah.
So, I have seen a little bit of the attempted defense of Ted Cruz leaving, that there was nothing he could do. When it snows in the north, do the senators go out and shovel snow, or, run snowplows? No, no, they don't. But there comes a point in time with leadership. And when you are an elected leader, only two of whom represent a very large state, you certainly understand the federal components that are at work, and able to maneuver
Correct.
to provide services, additional services to meet that crisis.
Correct.
And so it was excellent that people from outside the
State.
state stepped in and said, what can I do? Well, I can try to raise money, and I can try to raise awareness, and I can harness people to make phone calls, to at least make connections, so we had data points of what's going on and who's affected. But from what somebody who really wants the job and wants to serve the constituents can and should do, the list is limitless, because you have federal transportation issues going on. You've got airports that
Correct.
and terminals that presumably are somehow heated and
Yep.
are holding heat and could serve as stations. So, the crisis is the time to get really creative. And when
Yeah.
you have so much federal money going into a state like Texas, there should have been a lot more bang for the federal dollar before additional federal money was promised from President Biden.
Yeah.
Just the fact that there is such a presence in terms of the military and science and transportation and other services. So it was just, from a distance, I will say that it was very disappointing. And it's a recognition that there are people out there who want to lead, who are selecting public service because they understand that it's about the public, and that their creativity and their passion is fresh. I think this is a sure sign that Ted Cruz has sort of run out of ideas and run out of motivation.
Oh, and just last week you were, fighting for the acquittal of Donald Trump. So, and that's a whole nother conversation. But just another, going back to the electric grid, and again, a lot of us are learning this for the first time. This was done to kind of, step away from government, right? We don't
Mhm,
need government telling
mhm.
us what to do. So you've got a lot of deregulations. We can free market. We can
Yep.
do what we want. And the other downside to the consequences of that, in addition to crippling a state from a power standpoint, but now you have these companies that are starting to rear its ugly head, that are issuing out these obscene bills. We have
Mhm,
seen people getting $13,000 bills. Are
mhm.
you fucking kidding me? And that's because there's variables and fixed rate. And then it all depends on where the hell it's a mess that I have yet to even uncover. But it's not as easy as saying just this part of town or this part of Texas. It's some are variable, some are fixed,
Yep.
and those that are variable are pretty much free to pretty much charge what they can at that
Sure.
time, which is all based on supply and demand.
Yep.
And yeah, but here the Lone Star State always trying to succeed and do its own fucking thing, which is fine if you've got leaders who can manage situations,
Right.
particularly in an emergency situation. This is what you signed up for.
Mhm. And it's what scientists and experts have been warning us about now for about a dozen years, since 10
Correct.
years ago, when you
Correct.
hosted
We
the snow Super Bowl.
exactly. And we learned nothing. So
You know,
yeah.
deep breath,
Yeah, thank you. You can tell
deep breath.
I
I
am
I am
so
finding this to be a wonderful segue to the
thank you.
jacket, if you don't
Okay,
mind. All right.
let's do it.
So Jane Fonda, as you know, I've had 4 dreams about Jane Fonda, and I haven't had any now in a while. So I'm kind of feeling like I've perhaps am become knowledgeable about what I need to know. But one of the things that I am finding so admirable about Jane, apart from Grace and Frankie, so I bought this in a silent auction it was a fundraiser for one of her organizations called Women in Media. And
Ooh.
she actually founded it 35, 40 years ago with Gloria Steinem and Robin Morgan and Pat Mitchell. And so these four women have continued to sort of hold it together as women in media, and the concept and the understanding of representation and all of the inequities that are built into the media and entertainment business. And this also includes journalism and things. And so it was a fundraiser, and I'm like, I want this. I think this is really cool. And I paid way too much for a denim jacket. And it's a crew jacket, and it says season 5 on the back from Grace and Frankie. And it was supposed to be, that Jane Fonda donated it. Well, had she ever worn it? I don't know. They didn't say that she wore it. She didn't put any note in the pocket that said, hey, enjoy this, Jay, or anything, because that would have been pretty cool, right? I still check the pockets just in case. But when I got it, and I'm like, okay, I don't, what is she, like 5'8", 5'7", but she's been exercising her whole life. And the arms on a jean jacket were incredibly long. Like there was no way I was going to be able to wear this jean jacket with these incredibly long arms. I'm thinking, does she really have long arms? Would they do a custom crew jacket? This is the stuff I think about. Would they do a custom crew jacket for Jane Fonda because they know that her arms are so much longer than a regular one?
I'm sure.
I thought all these things about it. And then I took it to my local tailor place, and I said, you're going to have to shorten these, and maybe it was lengthened to fit Jane Fonda. Anyway, the point being that in addition to the women in media, she also is now actively involved on Fridays with her Fire Drill Friday. So remember a year and a half ago, she was getting arrested in Washington, D.C. every single Friday, wearing her beautiful red coat, speaking truth to power, and also leveraging her platform, literally, to have people from, the Native American environmental movement, Greenpeace, solar power advocates, people who are really in the trenches, trying to encourage advocacy, trying to educate people about what is all going on. And they are Fire Drill Fridays because she's of the belief that we need to act as though the world is on fire. Yes. And I think that your week in Dallas has just proven that it's fire, yes, but it's also just random, weird occurrences of weather, because it is truly science, and we have mucked up the system.
Exactly. No, that's wonderful. Matter of fact, I think we should get into some soul candy. What you think?
I'm wearing mine. How warm a denim jacket is.
Denim jackets are great, and they just, for me, I'm maybe not dating myself, but I love the look of like a maxi dress with our sundress, with a good denim jacket. Oh my God, denim jacket.
How many do you have?
I have 2. I have a blue one, and then I have a white one.
So there's this one, I have a white one. And then somewhere along the line, I got kind of a minty lime. It's more of a minty green than a lime green, but it's a very light kind of pastel. And I'm not a big pastel wearer, but sometimes it's exactly what you need. So
see, that's soul candy right there. Hello.
For
me, interesting this week, still related to all that we've gone through, since we didn't have power, no entertainment. I was listening to podcasts, had some downloaded magazines and whatnot. But we were like, okay, as soon as we get internet again, we're downloading some episodes from different platforms. That way we can at least have TV. And one of the shows that I downloaded because I want to relive again is Veep with Louis Dreyfus.
Yes.
And it is fantastic. I'm wrapping up season 1 now. But yeah, I'm just starting over it with that again. That has been the soul candy that has helped push through this week. Veep is fantastic.
You made it through a heck of a week with a big smile on your face. And somewhere out there, that nice lady who you spent 15 minutes with, she remembers you.
Miss J, you are wonderful. I love you. Yeah.
All right. So viewers, in addition to reaching out to us, sending us an email, leaving a comment in this, what's your soul candy? Well, how has your week been? How has weather affected your life, separate and distinct from the pandemic?
And if reach out, please let us know.
Yeah, right. Or if you've got relatives and just want to contribute to this conversation, we'll pick it up in the next, we are just a serial at this point in time. We don't know when this is going to end. And there's no sweeps weeks for us. Anyway, More importantly, reach out to some of those people in your circle who you haven't spoken with in a while. It
Yeah.
it makes a difference. It makes the day go by a little bit faster, maybe, and makes everybody realize that they aren't forgotten.
Yes, I agree. Well, that's it for today's episode. Again, subscribe below, hit us up, whether you want to send us a comment or an email. We love it. But more importantly, share us with a friend. Don't be stingy.
Yep, yep. Subscribe, carry it forward, and we'll see you next time.
Stay cool. Peace out.
Peace.